I don't think I've ever heard that song.
I got to tell you, my first introduction to the Skyview Drive-In, because I've been here now since 1996, when I was an intern for Show Me St. Louis, John Pertzborn did a story
Oh my God.
at the drive-in, and he did a whole thing where he tried to sneak in the trunk. And I think, Steve, maybe you're pounding on the trunk of the car saying, nope, you can't do that. We are so happy to have Steve Bloomer, the Skyview Drive-In owner. I mean, this has been a part of your life since you were born.
Yeah, yes. Well, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I've got pictures up on the wall out there of me riding around on one of the little merry-go-round things when I was a year and a half old, right after the drive-in opened.
So your grandfather opened the place.
My grandfather and his two brothers.
Wow.
Now, that Beach Boys song would have been mid-'60s, talking about the drive-in. Heidi's favorite movie is Grease 2, but mine's Grease 1. Famous scene at the drive-in in Grease.
Yes.
When did the drive-ins become a thing? What was the start date?
Well, the very first drive-in opened in Camden, New Jersey in 1933.
33.
On June 6th. And by...
Were there even cars around back then?
Oh, yeah. In fact, it was really interesting. I've seen pictures of the place. They did not have speakers to go into the cars. They had big boom speakers right next to the screen.
Just
Really?
shooting out.
Yes.
And did most people stay in their cars, or they'd get on the bumper of their cars?
I think back in those days, most people would stay in their cars.
Yeah.
I don't think it was until maybe the late 50s, 60s that people started bringing lawn chairs.
Uh-huh.
But you still had to, have the speakers out there and put them on your car so you could hear them.
So these days, you tune into the radio. What's the way that you guys do it now?
We have an FM transmitter, a different one for each screen. So people can either sit in their cars and watch. If the weather's nice, what most people do is they bring their lawn chairs and a portable FM boom box and sit outside.
I always say it is probably one of the best things you can do with your family, because you've got the playground and mom and dad can sit there and watch. It just is, and it's pretty darn affordable.
Yes, it's a lot less expensive than going to any indoor theater, because we charge $13 for an adult. But for each adult, one child gets in for free.
Yeah.
So you can have a family of 4 that gets in for $26.
And I know Pertzborn was being a goof, but
He's always a goof.
everyone...
And he's a Belleville resident.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he's Bellevillian.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's parents have stories about trying to sneak into the drive-in like that. I mean, these days, there's a lot of hatchbacks and SUVs. You could probably just look in the back of the car. But do you still have to check for that?
We watch for it once people park their cars. I have
Or if
I have ramp guys.
do you?
Yes, they're out there working. Well, first of all, at the box office, if you see a lot of fingerprints on the trunk,
Yes,
Ah.
smart.
or if the back end of the car
Real low.
is riding real low.
No, those are just bricks back there.
Yeah. No, we catch them, and
Yeah.
when we do, we give them a couple choices. One is you pay double
Ooh, I like
to
that.
stay, or we call the police, and you're taken away for trespassing.
I like it.
Or you can just leave and with no refund.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we encourage people to be honest with us.
Somebody said they saw ZZ Top at Skyview Drive-In. Would that be true?
In person? Not that I'm
Or
aware of.
did you did you ever?
There were concerts there?
Well, we did have concerts there during COVID year.
Wow.
But he was not one of them. Yeah, we had 4 different concerts. They brought their own stage with them.
And I saw an article from 2020 that said the virus is not slowing you guys down out at the drive-in because people can stay in their own cars.
Yes.
And I think movie theaters were even closed.
Yes, they were. We had to kind of struggle with the governor to get permission for drive-ins to be opened. There were 2 other drive-in theater owners and I that put together a letter because there were certain outdoor activities that were allowed.
Right.
And
That seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
we're definitely an outdoor activity. So on May the 1st of 2020, we got the okay from the governor's office that we could open, and then we had certain restrictions. We had to operate under half capacity. So normally we have 2 cars that park between we kept the old speaker poles there, just so people know where to park. But we had to go 1 car per spot, and nobody was allowed in the concession building.
Oh.
So normally we have 8 porta potties out there, so what we did was just double that. So, and we had a guy out there that did nothing but sanitize the porta potties. Whenever somebody would leave, he'd go in and spray it down with bleach water. And for the concession stand, people had to come up to the door. They placed their order. We had runners in there that would get their stuff for them and bring it to the door.
Well, let's talk about that concession stand, because you have all kinds of great options. What do you got cooking up this year?
Well, I know there's a lot of drive-ins that have all kinds of special stuff. We've stuck with the very basic drive-in menu. First of all, we don't have the counter space to put a whole bunch of stuff out. So we have great cheeseburgers, French fries, corn dogs. We have the best popcorn in the area.
I agree.
I mean, I've been to other theaters with their popcorn. We get locally grown popcorn from Ella and Ollie Popcorn. We use coconut oil, none of this air pop stuff, and flavor call. And we had some leftover popcorn after our last show in December, and I bagged it up and took it home, and it still tastes great.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I love hearing that. We're talking to Steve Bloomer, who is the owner of Skyview Drive-In in Belleville, Illinois. You're opening in just a couple of weeks, March 31st, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk about what is scheduled for the next couple of weeks. How far out do you schedule what's going to play?
Well, there's certain movies that I know I'm going to play. Okay. Second week will be Super Mario Brothers.
Oh.
After that will be Renfield. After that will be
Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, we got Dungeons and Dragons to open with.
Yeah.
That's what we open with. And then Evil Dead Rises. We're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy Part 4. That's on May 5th.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, these are all first-run movies.
Yes.
These are, they're not even going to streaming. These are things that you have to see in the theaters.
Correct.
But I went for a double feature one time, and there was a classic movie playing. Mm-hmm. Do you pepper those in as well, and how do you pick which of the oldies you bring
Sometimes back? We did. Well, first back in 2020, that's all we played was retro. There was nothing
because they weren't
available.
releasing it.
They weren't releasing anything. We were the only thing that was open was drive-in theaters throughout the country. So yeah, Goonies, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Which that just is so much fun to see those.
Grease, Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, wondering, are dogs allowed?
Yes. Yeah, as long as you keep them on a leash and you clean up after them.